Yes, guys, Suki for BTS, another episode with Beyond with, and of course, do I even need to introduce this guy? He is, of course. Let's just go for the accolades of this year. Because if I do it before, if I do it from 2015, then I'm gonna be here all day. So let's talk 2025 because that's why we're here. He's the Arnolds 2025 champion. He's the Pittsburgh champion. He's going for a treble, the hat trick. However we want to spin it, it's history in the making. It's of course Derek Lunsford. Derek, mate. All good, all well.
Hey man, thank you for having me on, man. I like what you're doing in our bodybuilding community. I feel like a lot of the stuff that you post on all your social platforms has generally been very uplifting and positive, and so I love to see that from people. And I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate it. Well, look, first of all, I want to start as well because I know it's been a talk on social media for the last 14 hours. And hopefully, when I post this, there's been more updates. Ronnie Coleman, of course, just want to say, obviously, my prayers are with him as well. The King Ronnie Coleman, can't just call him Ronnie Coleman, I've got to call him King Ronnie Coleman. Obviously, all the thoughts are with him. We saw an update on his platform. I'm sure you've seen those updates. I mean, I guess the place where I want to start, really, let me start with Ronnie. What type of impact has Ronnie had on you in your Bible career? Also, I want to bring this up because I want to
Yeah.
put some positivity, hopefully put that karma out there for Ronnie to pull through and we get some good news soon. But yeah,
Honestly, whenever I talk to anybody about Ronnie, it's always the same thing. I say, this guy is not only the greatest bodybuilder of all time, but he is one of the best human beings I've ever met in life, and especially in our bodybuilding community. I fortunately, being Mr. Olympia, I get to meet pretty much everybody, all the who's who, all the former Mr. Olympias. There's not really been anybody I haven't met. And as a fan, of course, I knew Ronnie Coleman, and as a fan, the Phil Heath, the Jay Cutlers, those are the guys I looked up to getting into this sport. And once I had the privilege to get to know Ronnie, really made me realize, wow, this is not just like he's so much more of an inspiration and a human being, like down to earth human being in person, than you can ever see online. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm Derek Lunsford, Mr. Olympia, or if I'm just Joe Schmo in the gym. He's gonna treat me the same as he would anybody else. That's what I noticed about him. But like when he talks about bodybuilders that are coming up, like before I won the Olympia, he was saying, "Hey, he can do it." And I've seen him do that with other people too. He's very positive, very uplifting about the athletes and about our community. And I love to see that, because that's how we build this community, is together in a positive way and supporting each other rather than trying to knock each other down, or he could easily say I'm the greatest of all time, and so nobody can stand a chance next to me. But he doesn't do that.
you need to. You need to say it.
He appreciates everybody for all the effort that they're putting in, and wants everybody to have great success. And so that's him, genuine through and through, and always a positive attitude, positive spirit. Every room that he goes in, he just lights up the room, man. It's so cool.
I think what's remarkable about him as well is you think of the era that he competed in, like
Yeah.
those people who follow now as well, especially like more on social media or for his YouTube channel. There's a young audience who
Hmm.
follow Ronnie Coleman who probably wasn't even born when he was
Yeah.
winning those Olympia titles, and it just shows
Yeah.
the business transition of the man from what he did then, and to still make him so like obviously he's got his YouTube channel where he does his reactions. He's very savvy with that. He's everywhere when it comes to appearances
Yeah.
all over the world. This is him and Jay Cutler. I always think back of those two from that era to continue to either elevate
Yeah.
their presence, their fans, even with
Right.
sponsorship as well, with Young
Yeah.
LA, like with Young Brand, they chose to be associated with these icons. So yeah, it's
It
incredible.
says it says something when you go to like an expo, for example, like FIBO. I go there every year to Germany to FIBO, and I have a long line of a ton of supporters, which is amazing. I look over next to me, Jay Cutler's got a long line, but you just know, you every time you look over and see Ronnie Coleman, it's just people are so excited to be around him. So, it says something about about him when he's so far removed from competing and has retired many years ago, but yet people still love him and still draw motivation and inspiration from him, from his old videos or even some videos he puts out now, or just the personal interaction that he has with people now. Is like, that to me is like, that's who I want to be. I look up to someone like Ronnie and I'm like, that's somebody that I still look up to. Even being where I'm at now, I'm like, no, 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 I want to be like that Ronnie Coleman, the Jay Cutler, because how, they treat their fans and just how down to earth they are, you know?
If I remember correctly, FIBO, was that like, was it 2 or 3 weeks before Pittsburgh? Because obviously, the
Oh
reason why I bring
boy.
that up is because I remember seeing the videos of you there on the mic, on the
Yeah.
stage, the quad stomp with Jay Cutler, and they're like, I know, and I also remember some of the interviews, saw one with Sid from RX, and you were there interviewing,
Uh,
but you're like, I gotta get my meal as well. But
yeah. So
um,
this was the first time that I've been to FIBO and or any expo like that for that matter, 4 weeks out from a show. And it's easier said than done. I'm not gonna lie. If I didn't love it and didn't want to truly be there and appreciate everybody that come out to support, then I would definitely stay home and just prepare for the show. But no, I love FIBO. I love being at these expos, Arnold Classic, Olympia, all the biggest expos and events around the world. I love it. This is what I got into this sport for, is because I wanted this to be my life and I wanted to be involved in the bodybuilding community as much as I wanted to train, build my physique, and get on stage and be Mr. Olympia. So no, I didn't want to miss it no matter what, even though I had Pittsburgh like 4 weeks coming up after. I was just saying to someone today. I said, I think probably my best look would have been like that 4 weeks out
yeah,
from Pittsburgh. Like I was looking so sharp, and I remember I went to Pittsburgh to FIBO to Germany, and it took a lot out of me that weekend or that week being there. But I was still excited to be there, still happy to be there. Don't regret anything. So everybody that came out to support was great. But I'll tell you what, anybody that's getting ready for a bodybuilding show knows how difficult it is 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out from a show, that you just want to stay home and go to the gym, and that's it. You really don't have any extra to give to even really go to the grocery store or do anything else. But imagine getting on a plane, going halfway around the world, doing a 3-day expo event for hours on end, training, meals, all this. Which thankfully I have great people out there who take care of me when I go to Germany, but to get my meals and all the things I need. But to stay regimented and compete in one of the biggest shows of your life, against some great competitors, it's like I knew there was a lot riding on the line, but I'm like, listen, I love it. I want to be here, and I believe if anybody can do it, it's gonna be me. So we're gonna do it.
well, I'll tell you what, this is why I applaud because let's not sell it short. FIBO is the largest expo of its type in the world,
Crazy.
and yeah, the large I think it came back a couple of years away, but let's not forget. European expos is very rare that we get active American bodybuilders or maybe active open bodybuilders who are competing, not of a
Yeah,
show, but it got a show maybe coming up in later in the year, let alone 4 weeks later. So that's very, very rare. So when you made the effort to come to Germany, the biggest expo in the world, in Europe,
yeah,
we don't get that opportunity to see, the guys on top of the game, like yourself, yes, we're lucky to have Samson in the UK, but all the other big names, very rare.
right.
Well, obviously in America, it's probably a
Yeah,
little bit easier because, of course, you've got these appearances at other gyms and other locations where it could be a bit
yeah.
easier to travel. Europe, different ball game.
And,
But
and and let's be honest, not everybody likes to travel. Not all the top guys in the open like to travel. I do. I love to be out there involved in the bodybuilding community. I did a thing with Jay Cutler and some other pro bodybuilders at Steve Weinberger's gym in New
oh
York.
yes,
South there.
yeah, yeah,
That was a few weeks out from the Arnold as well. I mean, granted, that's not a FIBO Expo, but it was still an event where we had a ton of people come out. It was a packed gym, great time. And again, traveling a few weeks out, it's not easy. But I again, I like to be active. This is again. what I believe I signed up for, man. Like if I ever got the opportunity to go and to be at FIBO and to go to check out Bev's gym in New York, or be at the Arnold, or be at the Olympia, like I'm living the time of my life, man. This is like a dream come true still, right? Again, focused on the show, want to win the show and make history for sure. That's first and foremost. But again, a lot of people don't like to travel, and I don't know why, because I think that I don't know. It's all
I think
personal.
so.
I get it.
I think sometimes when you travel, then you're losing maybe some of the controllables. I mean, yes, you control what you eat over there, but then
Yeah,
when you travel, we saw it with, like, I remember Sasserati when he did the
yeah,
Tonight Show. Geez, he was stuck for 6 hours and all
yeah.
these little issues, and that's just the last thing you want. But look, like I said, very much appreciate that you came over to FIBO. Incredible.
No, it's
Look,
awesome.
I want before we look at 2025, I want to jump back to 2024.
Okay,
If you had to grade 2024, use a school system, A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever grade, what grade would you give yourself on your 2024 season?
my effort is always A+, no question. Doesn't matter if I have um, anything going on, traveling or building this gym here in Florida that we're building. It doesn't matter all the side stuff that I got going on. A+ for effort, in terms of my focus, my discipline, and just every day getting after it. As far as like showing up on stage, physique wise, ah, it's kind of hard to put a grading scale, but really probably a B-, man. Really, or like I don't know. What would you grade it, to be honest?
I
It
mean,
was, let me put it this way. It wasn't my best, and I knew it. I felt it. I didn't feel like I was presenting my best. I felt like my effort was 100%, but the execution for the stage peak was just off. And it was kind of a bummer, man.
it was,
You just know, right?
I mean, I would say a C, but this is the reason. It was a C because
Sure.
I remember, I mean, and this was a tough watch for anybody who watched it. The post-Olympia interview, and to do
Yeah.
that interview straight after having come third, and I remember you as well in an interview a little bit later, maybe on channel, where Jake Wood announced the prize money going up for second and first place, and you already been announced third place. All this is coming on top of you. And I remember that interview, and this was just like, curtains open. I'm just going to say what I'm thinking, and you said, this sucks. And it really sounded like you were unsure about what's next. Now, my question here, and please don't take this the wrong way, but when I was watching that, and how you were speaking, it sounded like there was a part of you that felt like giving up. And
Oh, no, 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 no,
I know, but
no,
I think it's
no. It's
how it
fine.
was. I know, but obviously it was because of the emotion
Yeah,
at that point when you were
yeah,
like, unsure, I don't know, like they're asking you questions, but your head is already spinning, having just
yeah.
taken a third, go in there for the win, A+ effort, and not executed what you want to do, and now you're having this interview. Was there at any point in what was going through your head, in fact, during that interview
No.
process?
Well, I literally got walked off stage to the interview.
That's what I'm saying.
That's how fast it was. I didn't even have a sip of water. It was, here's the interview. And me being me, I'm like, okay, okay, fine, sure. And no, there absolutely was zero doubt in my mind of like, am I giving up, or is this? I think it was like kind of two things. It was one, like, well, actually, let me just put it this way. It was mostly me just having faith in God that whatever God's plan was for my life is is perfect, right? So even though I gave 100% effort and I wanted that Olympia title, and I was coming to get my second title back to back, and it didn't happen, I had to be okay with it. Like, somehow I had to be okay with it, and for me to be okay with it, it was knowing that this is not what God had in store for me. And so because if it was, I would have came peaked out perfect and I would have won the show, right? So I just felt that, it wasn't in the cards for me. This show, as much as it sucked, so I had to accept it. It was me accepting the loss of something that I really wanted. And then also, like, kind of the part two was, well, crap, man. Like, there's history will show, like, once you lose the Olympia title, generally you don't get it back, right? And the only person ever that's done it was Jay Cutler. So that was kind of like what was flashing before my mind was like, okay, you have to accept that this today is not what God wanted for you. And then like, okay, but what's the future? And I'm like, okay, the history has shown this in the past as far as Mr. Olympia champions. And then as the dust kind of settled, and I kind of sat back and thought about it. I was like, you know what? I'm 31 years old. I've already won the Mr. Olympia, the 212, both. And even when I won, I still don't think I'm my best. I still don't think I was at my best in 2023 when I won the Mr. Olympia. And so, why would I not double down on myself, have even more belief in myself than ever and confidence, knowing that I'm the most resilient bodybuilder on the planet. And that is why I went into the Arnold Classic, or part of the reason why I went into the Arnold Classic was because no, 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 no. This is not how it was supposed to go here at the Olympia this year. My best is the best, and I'm gonna come show it. I'm gonna come show it first at the Arnold. Then I want to be the first Pittsburgh Pro Champion. And then I want to do what's never been done before first, winning all three of the biggest shows of the year, including the Mr. Olympia. And then the only other person that's ever done gotten their title back was Jay Cutler, and I believe I could be the second to do it. So there's a lot of history on the line, and I also felt like losing the Olympia was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Even though it was one of the worst things that could happen in your career, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me because it freed me up from being scared to lose, being afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to fail anymore. That's great because in my career in bodybuilding and in my life, I am not afraid to fail because I know I'm going to keep getting back up and moving forward and staying resilient, and I'm just going to go through any hurdle that comes along my way. I'm just going to keep moving forward, keep moving forward, keep moving forward, and that persistence is going to lead me somewhere. And I believe that that's going to lead me to a positive place. And so that's what I'm hanging on to. And that's why I believe without a question, I'm gonna do it this year, man. I'm gonna be Mr. Olympia 2025 and make history.
I want to jump back on that as well because I mean, how soon after Olympia did that switch then go to say I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna let that result, you know, affect me. I'm gonna go straight into the Arnolds. This is my plan 2025 because that's a big plan to have. And the reason why I ask this is because a lot of people when we do compete, whether it's regional shows, national,
Mhm.
pro level, they go through that where maybe they don't get the result they want, and
Yeah.
sometimes that can really hit them back, and then they're in a position where they're trying to decide their next step. How did you get to that point that made you decide, no, this is the plan, move forward?
Well, right away, I got right back on it. I continued doing cardio. I was eating clean, trying to stay lean and train and stuff. So I never really took time off from the gym or anything right after the show. But my plan for what was to happen in 2025 competitively, I didn't know what competitions I was going to jump into. I didn't know because you got to think too. A lot of things were happening at that time. Hani Rambod,
Yeah,
my
of
previous
course.
coach, announces that he's retiring. I had some other, relationships and things in life kind of go in a direction I wasn't expecting, and found out at that time my grandmother had cancer and she had a short time to live. And so there was just a lot going on around the holidays last year after the Olympia. And, I got with Chris Aceto and we were about 15 weeks out. and I said, "Do you think I can be ready for the Arnold? Do you think my body can be ready? Like, if I do everything from now to the Arnold, do you think that we can come and win this show? Do you think my body will be ready? My mind is ready. My mind and my spirit are telling me do this. My body is not in the best position to show up and show out at the Arnold. So we had a lot of work to do. And he said, well, we'll just take it one step at a time, and as we get closer, we'll know better. And I think it was about 6 weeks out is whenever I thought, okay, like this is I'm gonna show up better. That's when I started having a little bit more confidence. So it took me a few months to really like think, this is going to be a better package in the Olympia, because like I said, I had kind of dug myself into a hole getting ready for the 2024 Olympia when I got third. So it took me a few weeks to start working with Chris Aceto, and then it took me a few weeks after that, or a couple months, to really know that I was going to be ready for the Arnold Classic. And that's why, I think as of today, the Arnold Classic was my best showing so far. The Pittsburgh, we can talk about that in a minute if you want, but
Yeah.
I think my body was just really tired, man. I was under a lot of stress. Like I said, traveling, training for so long, staying lean for so long. My grandmother, once again, she had passed away actually the day of Pittsburgh, the show, and so I just things were really. It was like I need to get to this show and that be it, and going kind of into a off season. So I think as of today, the Arnold was my best look, but how I'm looking right now after a few weeks from Pittsburgh, giving myself some rest and kind of rebounding from that, I'm very excited to present my all time best at the Olympia. I'm very confident in that right now.
We're
Yeah.
going to touch on Pittsburgh in a moment. I think there's a important lesson there that you just mentioned that if you don't hit after a show, whatever level you're in, and you don't get a result you want, and therefore you don't know what's next for yourself, the worst thing you can do is not do the basics of what you said there afterwards. You went straight to carrying on cardio, you kept eating clean, but the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a bad position to
Yeah.
start a new mission, the mission
Yeah.
of art, but you didn't know it at that time. I think it's important for anybody that if you don't get a result, control the basics. Don't go on a massive binge, fuck off your training,
Yes.
your
I
food, and then
think
put you in a bad spot later.
I've had some other things come up recently, like in the last couple weeks, that had been crazy challenging in my life. And, after being hit with things so much, especially recently and over the last few years, um, I just kind of realized, like, if you just lay down and give up, that's like the worst thing you can do, for you mentally, physically, and just emotionally. Like if you don't get the result you want, or you're going through something, best thing you can do is just do your best to keep moving forward and have the best attitude you can, the most optimistic attitude that you possibly can have. Just try to lean into that. And it's not easy. Easier said than done. If you would have told me that a week or two ago, I'd have been like, I don't even want to hear that right now. I want to feel the feelings, let me be, and so I get it. Like, I've been there a few years ago. I was in a really, really bad depression, like 2020. I've talked about it before. That's when I just surrendered my life to God. But since then, he showed that he's always got me. He's always got my hand. He's always going to carry me through. And it's not by my own doing. My own doing is leaning into those voices of like, oh, you should feel sad, or you should feel depressed. You should no, I don't want that. Like, I need to keep moving forward and know that yes, there's challenges that I'm going through right now, and it's okay to feel the feelings, but don't just stay in it. Like I said, like after the Olympia, like, no, did I want to just lay down and say, well, that's it? I lost the Olympia. I'm never going to get it again. And there goes my career. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I said, heck no. Like, I'm going to double down on myself, and I'm going to come back better. And that's just all there is to it. And that's my choice. Do I either lay down and give up and, oh, there it is, there goes the Olympia, there goes my career? Or is it, no, 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 I didn't get this far to stop. Yes, I've achieved a lot, and I'm very happy and very proud of those things. but I got more, and I'm going to show it. And it's me getting back to work. And so that's what I did. And that's why I said, no, no, I'm the most resilient guy on the circuit, and I'm going to prove it. I'm not just going to come back and get the Olympia title. I'm going to win the Arnold. I'm going to win the Pittsburgh, and I'm going to win the Olympia this year. And so it was like not having to prove it to anybody else, just proving it to myself. Prove it to myself that I'm not going to lay down and cower down because I didn't get what I want. No, that's okay. I'm either going to use this L for a loss, or I'm going to use this L for a lesson. And I chose to use it as a lesson and just keep moving forward.
I mean, I did a post a while back saying in bodybuilding, you either win or learn. There's no loss. You don't lose,
Yes.
you learn. And if you don't learn from your experience, then yes, you are going to
There you
lose.
go.
But I did a post this earlier today about visualization, and what you're clearly describing to me there about 2025, the goal you had, you visualized this
Hmm.
even back in
Yeah.
2024 when you started with
Hmm.
Tito. Can I ask as well? A lot of people visualize their goals. What techniques do you use in visualization that allows you to keep yourself accountable on that goal at hand? And the reason why I say this is because other people, they visualize their goal. It might be winning a regional show. It might just even be top three,
Yeah.
pro card, whatever the goal. But it all starts by visualizing what they
Yeah.
want to achieve. Can you describe some of those techniques that you use?
For sure. So first and foremost, I think, like I said earlier, the best thing that happened to me was that I am no longer afraid to fail. So that took a lot of the stress away from me. So now I just gotta get to go do what I love to do and be the best at it. I could say that my competition definitely holds me accountable. I talk about how I'm the most resilient. I believe my best is the best in the world when I bring it. I believe that. But I also believe that these guys are some of the best bodybuilders that have ever stepped on stage. I mean, let's be honest. I know there's argument from other eras where guys want to say, "Oh, this era was better," or this or that. Honestly, I think right now you have some of the best bodybuilders of all time, and so that definitely holds me accountable for me to get after it every single day. But I think ultimately, man, is you know, I need to do this for me. I need to know that when I leave the gym, I gave it my absolute all. I need to know when I lay my head down at night that I stuck to the meal plan and did everything that I possibly could to check every box for me to be my best. And I need to know whenever I show up on that stage that I gave 100% A plus effort. And if I know that there was a time where, oh, you slacked here, or oh, you kind of took your pedal off, your foot off the pedal, and you could have stepped up and done more, that I don't want to live with. Even if I won, I would have been like, I could have been better. That's kind of always been my attitude. But I just don't ever want to get to where I'm not competing anymore, I'm retired or whatever in the future, and think to myself, man, you could have given more. You could have went harder. You could have, stepped up, and you just didn't. I don't want that. I don't want that. And that's why I doubled down on myself this year and moving forward. It's not just about this year. This year is the beginning of more for me. And then on top of that, I also don't want to miss events like FIBO or the seminar at Steve's gym, things like that where it's like, time is passing and I have an opportunity right now that I've invested pretty much my whole life into, being in the gym my whole life and sculpting my physique. People ask me, how long did it take you to look like that? I said, my whole life, man. My whole life I've been doing this. So I didn't get here this far just to say, all right, that's good. I'm going to hang it up. Great career. Good job, Derek. Pat yourself on the back. Because I know right now, if I walked away, I look back and I'd regret it. I would say, no, 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 I got more. I got more. And that's where I'm at. So it's really for me. It's really for me. It's really for my family. And honestly, I'm blessed. It's a big responsibility, but there's a lot of people around the world that are listening to me and look up to the things that I say and how I carry myself. I know that because I did the same thing with, you mentioned earlier, Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler. It's like I look up to those guys because I admire the way that they carry themselves and the inspiration that they give. And so I believe that this is the calling that God has had over my life. And, I have a beautiful family, and I have, great people in my life, a lot of people that support me in many different ways. And, if I'm not going to do it for myself, I got to do it for them, and ultimately for my purpose on this earth. So I just think, right now is the opportunity to get after it. And every day that I sit here and go, well, I didn't win the 2024 Olympia, I want people to feel sorry for me. How about no? How about no? How about it happened? Move forward, and can you come back better? Absolutely. All right. Let's control the controllables, and let's move forward, and let's go get that title back.
Well, look, mate, you came better in the Arnold 2025, and let's just start with
Yeah.
that very quickly. I mean, look, let's call it how it is. Let's just call it how it is. You beat the reigning Mr. Olympia, Samson Dowder.
Mhm.
You must believe that you're the man to beat now going into Olympia 2025.
I mean, on paper, yeah. Paper right now, I would say, I beat Samson, who is the current Mr. Olympia, Andrew, who's an incredible bodybuilder, Brandon Curry, William Bonac, all at the Arnold, among other great competitors. And then I beat Nick and Martin and William in Pittsburgh. So on paper, yeah, you can say that. Really, the only other person that is in that top lineup is Hottie, and so and I've beaten him before, and so on paper, yes. But here's the thing: you got to show up, and everybody is hungry. And like I mentioned earlier, I am not overlooking anybody ever. It doesn't matter what stage we are on, whether it's the Mr. Olympia stage, the Pittsburgh stage, the Arnold stage. It doesn't matter. These guys are coming, and I know it, but they know it that I'm coming, and they know it. They know where what I have here. That I'm the most resilient, and I'm going to keep moving forward. And I'm like a juggernaut. You can't kill me. And so they know I'm going to keep coming back, and I'm going to keep working to be my best, and I expect nothing less from them. And that's why I love it, because as much as we're competitors, I believe that we're also colleagues, and us together are raising the sport to a higher level. And I love it. I love that I get to be a part of that, and I want to be the front runner to that. I want to be the Mr. Olympia, the best in the world that's leading this group of guys. That's how I see this. But trust me, I give all the respect to my competitors, because I know how great they are, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn and just say I'm the best. I'm the best. That's not true. But I do believe me putting it together on stage will result in victory. So
Well, look, there's no doubt that
yeah,
the Arnold 2025, what you brought to the stage, look, you saw it on
yeah,
socials. You
yeah,
saw it on the people back home where they were applauding like, wow, this is
yeah.
the best Derek Lunsford we've ever seen. Yes, there was an element maybe that Samson also left the door open by not bringing his best, but you can't
Do you
control
think so? Do you think
that.
so? I
I,
I think I will argue that I will argue this. Samson was at his best at the Arnold. Nick was also at his best in Pittsburgh. I think that's the best Samson and Nick we've ever seen. Now, I think at the Olympia last year, Samson was a little tighter, but I think he displayed a bigger physique at the Arnold. There's argument for that. I'm not sure what the judges said. I don't know what other people say, but me personally, I think that we're all continuing to improve, and I think that each year, every time we step on stage, we just keep getting better. Did I peak at the Pittsburgh like I peaked at the Arnold? Not exactly, but I also know that I developed muscle tissue in areas that, had I peaked 100%, it would have been even better than the Arnold. So that's why I said, like, I still have confidence knowing that after Pittsburgh, I said, I'm better than I was at the Arnold. I just didn't peak at 100%, right? So I still believe that to be true for Samson. I believe that to be true for Nick. I believe that to be true for all these guys.
yeah, I think when I interviewed Pitt Sampson, he was saying that like you at Pittsburgh, the peak didn't go to plan. The cleaver size was all there, everything was there. It just didn't fall into place.
Yeah.
Now, even if it did fall in place, would they have beaten? what you brought to the table, I guess we'll find out Olympia 2025 when you both peak at a perfectly, which we expect everyone because you guys are
Yeah,
professional, you guys are Olympia
yeah.
champions. My, this is where it got interesting on socials. Arnold's everybody would, I would say majority of everyone would say you were the winner.
Mhm,
Myself, the other outlets, what you
mhm.
brought was phenomenal, and that is that Derek was like, okay, game on, Olympia 25, he's back, let's go. You
Yeah.
roll to Pittsburgh.
Uh-huh.
Then the response on socials completely flipped on its head, and you know what bodybuilders like. Bodybuilding community can be very fickle where they like to support the
Very.
underdog. We saw that at Pittsburgh. I
Hmm.
want to ask you, we saw the video you posted a couple weeks ago. And once again,
Hmm.
that was a tough watch because you come from a passionate place there. The was the was the criticism justified that was coming from social media? The reason why I asked that is because they saw you what you brought to the Arnolds, and then of course at Pittsburgh, like I said, you didn't pick it as well as you did the Arnolds. Was the criticism justified?
Referring to the video I posted, titled "Honest Update," where I was, getting obviously emotional. That was completely about my grandmother. That had zero to do with bodybuilding fans that supported Nick or saying negative things to me. Listen, man, I when I won the Olympia in 2023, I was getting like death threats and like crazy crazy stuff was happening at that time where it was like my phone was being called no caller ID all day long. I had to get my phone shut off. I had to call my provider, shut my phone off. I kept getting spam emails, which is probably pretty obvious. My Instagram kept getting taken down. My blue check kept getting everything just my social media kept getting hacked and everything like in my life. I had people sending me like gift boxes of stuff to my house that was just random. Like, dude,
What
I
was the gift boxes like?
I don't even want to say because it can be creepy sometimes, man. What people will try to send you
Okay,
or
yeah.
message you, or dude. If I told you, you'd be like, whoa. So, yeah, man. Like I've dealt with this stuff before, and then, you know, nobody could be more critical on me than me, right? I'm the hardest on myself. So when it came to the YouTube video, in 20 sorry, YouTube video a couple weeks ago about um honest update. That was all about my grandma, about how like it was basically like I'm a human being, right? I know a lot of people, they just see bodybuilder, Mr. Olympia, Derek Lunsford, and that's cool because that's how I used to view the Ronnie Colemans, the Jay Cutlers. They were
Yeah.
larger than life human beings. Those aren't even human beings. Those are crazy, icons. But in reality, I'm just like everybody else, man. Like I have family, I have people in my life, and I lost one of the closest people to me. Like one of like literally like the closest family member possible, and that supported me and really allowed me to feel and be myself my whole life. Like she supported everything that I wanted to do and who I wanted to be, and was just always behind me and loved me like nobody else loved me, and was always at the Olympia. And I lost her, and it sucked. And that was a big reason too why I wanted to do the Arnold, which I dedicated the posing routine to her. That was for her. I was thinking about her the whole time I was doing it. Um, Same thing as Pittsburgh. I was hoping she could come to Pittsburgh. I just didn't know when the last time she could come watch me would be, and I didn't know that she was going to pass away the day of the Pittsburgh Pro. Like
Did
nobody
I
knows.
did I see
What's
a
that?
video? Did I see a video from you that
Uh-huh.
did you ask did you ask permission for your grandma about the Arnolds? I remember there was a message, a really cool message. She sent
Yeah.
it to you, like
Yeah, I asked her. I
or
said because
something like just go with it.
I was thinking about doing it already. I'd had it in my head. I was like, I want to do it, but I called her and I was like, "What do you think about me doing the Arnold?" Because like I said, I didn't think she would be able to make it to the Olympia this year. Obviously, she didn't. So, I was thinking maybe this could be the last time that she could see me and I could just perform for her. And that was a lot of my mindset too at that time. So part of me was, all right, I'm resilient. I want to go beat the reigning champion. I want to show up with a better physique. I want to win the Arnold Classic. All these reasons of wanting to do that, and then calling my grandma and saying, like, what do you think about me doing the Arnold? And she said, I think you can win it. She had that kind of confident attitude about me, sometimes borderline cocky, but this confident as like, I know you can win it. Go do it. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll do it because you told me to do it. So I told her that. Um, and so yeah, that is true. That's why I did have that conversation with her. And but anyway, back to your question was, the video I posted in was about how, like, I'm a human being and I go through stuff, and leading up to the Pittsburgh Pro, like, I was under a lot of stress. Yes, we're professionals, but you got to think, man, no matter how much you're trying to control all the variables, like, sometimes things just aren't in your control. And it wasn't in my control that I was upset about my grandma, who was passing away. It could pass away at any time, and I'm over here trying to load up and peak for the Pittsburgh show, and she's in hospice, and I'm calling her for the last time. And I just can't help that I'm crying in between my meals. Like, that is kind of what I was trying to get across, is like, guys, like, look, I'm always going to give my best. I appreciate everybody's support. I love all y'all. But to be relatable, I got to tell you, like, it's not always happy go lucky Derek. Sometimes you're going through stuff, man, and it's okay to feel feelings. It's okay, but it's not okay to stay down in your feelings. You got to keep moving forward. And that was kind of like what I wanted that message to be, while letting people in on my life, right? And unfortunately, we have um, people who call themselves bodybuilding media, who really are just have a social media channel, who want to spin things in a disgusting, heartless way, and pretend like it was about bodybuilding fans, like the Nick Walker fans. Saying the things that they're saying. And, like, if I want to be a celebrity, is what they said, or Mr. Olympia at the top of this, and I'm putting out social media, then I need to be able to handle it. And it's crazy because I literally said for like 2 seconds in that video, I was like, the only, like I said, on top of everything, I'm dealing with, the fans saying this. And what I meant by that is, fans of bodybuilding don't know what's going on in people's lives. These other My competitors are going through things too. I know it. You know why? Because we're all human. We all go through stuff. So, you just never know what people are going through in their life while people are writing nasty comments. So it was kind of just one of those things where, like, they don't even know what I'm going through, and yet I'm still having to handle these comments, which is fine. I think I even said in the video, I go, I'm not even really phased by it. I've been going through this for a long time now, where people are, we love you one day and then we hate you the next. But it's not, for me, I found that that's not even true. That's just the smoke and mirrors online. It's like, when I go to these expos or I'm in the bodybuilding community, it's like so much genuine support that I have. And I know these other guys do too, but when I focus on the people that support me and are there, to shake hands, get a picture, or have a conversation, it's just such down to earth, genuine people that I feel like are in my corner. And so I always think about them whenever I see these nasty comments. So your question was, is the comments justified? Some of them, yeah. Some of them are fine. Why not? Why not have your favorite bodybuilder and support them and say, I think I liked his physique better. I think that's okay. What's not okay is whenever it gets kind of nasty comments, and it starts to really tear down all the athletes, because at the end of the day, I won, right? It wasn't in my control to win. What was in my control was to bring my best physique, display it on stage, and give every reason for the judges to pick me. And so I think it was definitely a closer show than I would have liked to it have been. That's not what I wanted going into the show. Definitely did not overlook Nick. But it came down to a tiebreaker. It came down really close, where you had two different type of physiques displaying great attributes in both physiques. But the problem is instead of talking about how, wow, Derek looks great here and Nick looks great there, it's, wow, Derek looks like terrible there and Nick looks terrible there. It's like, why do you have to talk about where, we need to develop or get better when you could just look at the physique and go, that's a crazy physique. That's incredible. Like, honestly, take me out of it. I look at Nick and I'm like, whoa, yo, he brought it. That was an awesome physique that he brought. And I can sit here as his competitor and I could nitpick him and knock him down. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because I respect him. I respect who he is as a human being. I respect him as a competitor and a professional. And I know he's given his best, and what he's built with what he's been given is great. It's something to marvel over, just like you would myself, Hottie, Samson, some of these other guys. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to be like, well, this is where he's lacking, and but I would rather our bodybuilding community, the fans, be like, Derek looks crazy here. Nick looks crazy there. Samson looks hottie. I want people to talk more about why our physiques are the best and why they look so crazy, extraordinary. Like you just don't see this every day type thing versus like, well, he's lacking here and his physique's just not put together. It's like, stop that. You're not really helping anybody when you do that.
Yeah, obviously, I've seen obviously Nick still believes he won Pittsburgh. Obviously, you won Pittsburgh. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong
Yeah,
thinking that
sure.
you won because in the end, that's the
Yeah,
self-belief you're gonna have yourself. Take to Olympia, round two at Las Vegas. That's now the narrative. It's just got even greater, and that's
sure.
why more eyeballs can be attached to the
Yeah.
2025. I just want to touch on one thing actually before we talk on Olympia 2025, and we talk about social media and there is that toxic side, there is that negativity side. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen, obviously, there's been some videos or posts from the golden era of bodybuilding, maybe the old school
Sure.
bodybuilders. And we've seen comments about Nick Walker, we've seen comments about Brigham Grimes. There was a video, I believe Dorian Yates said
Yeah.
something about yourself where him and one of the co-hosts they laughed. That then went on another channel and they were actually not happy about that someone could laugh about your physique not being comparable to Gold Era. The reason why I bring this up is Samson obviously he wanted to do an interview about it as well because
Yeah.
he felt getting out of control. Is there I- what's going on here? Where do you feel that it's getting a little bit out of control with maybe some negativity going towards new school bodybuilding versus old school, or is this just standard bodybuilding that yes, it's happened on social media. They had it with the previous guys before them, except it was on magazines. Is it just standard, or is it getting a bit? Is it getting worse?
I think it's unfair and unfortunate. Because, like I just mentioned, you're not uplifting anybody, you're tearing everybody down. You can still talk about how great your physique was or how your time competing was and how great the competitors you competed against was. But I'm going to say it again. There's a reason why Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler have such great support. They continue to uplift other people. They're continuing to uplift today's generation of competitors, right? And then you have some of these who they step their foot into the community and they step out and they step in, they step out. And it's only when somebody's, doing something, right? Whenever you got these competitors like myself competing all year at these bigger shows, when they start making these comments to try to, in my opinion, it's just to try to stay relevant and to just kind of keep their voice out there. I do wish for sure that they were more supportive of us because we could definitely make comments, but we don't because we look at the guys that came before us that paved the way, right? We looked at them like they were incredible during their time. You can't really compare because we're not standing on stage. You're going to see one photo that is different quality than another photo with different quality and video and so on and so forth. But um, I've heard a lot of people say, who are judges or fans, um, draw the comparison because they were there during that era and they're here during this era, and I know what they said to me. I won't say who it is or what they said, but it was definitely in favor of the guys nowadays, I would say, not taking away anything from them. You can see how I'm kind of maybe tiptoeing on my words here because I don't want to disrespect anyone that came before me because they paved the way, they were incredible, and they had their time. It's just I just wish that they could do more supporting the guys now than they do. And instead of supporting, it seems like they try to knock us down. And I don't know why they do that. It doesn't make any sense to me because again, you see the Jay Cutlers and the Ronnie Colemans who support yet they're loved. And I think it's pretty obvious that if you're constantly criticizing, knocking, the guys today, you're not getting much love back your way. So why do that? It seems like a losing strategy. Whereas, 10, 15 years from now when I'm done competing, I look forward to uplifting the next generation. I want to see the guys that come after me do great, do greater things than me, because that's the way that your legacy continues to be what it is if the sport continues to grow and flourish and thrive. Because if you're killing it and if you're knocking down the guys, the next generation, then what does that say about you? Nothing good. It does nothing for anyone. That's why I said it's unfair and unfortunate. So I don't want to say too much because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. When I see that, it to me it says they're insecure. It does, because I don't need to say anything. I'm just gonna go do me, and I'm gonna go try to be the best I can be. I'm never gonna say I'm the greatest of all time. Nothing like that. It's like I'm just gonna go do me. I'm gonna go do me. I'm gonna be the best I can be. And I want all those other guys who came before me and the guys that come after me have a great legacy for all the achievements that they achieved and all the hard work that they put in and what they did to grow our sport and community. And that's what I look at. And I wish if they had that same viewpoint, I think that they would, be showing a lot more love. But I don't really talk too much about them. That's why.
Yeah, look, I don't want to delve into it. Like, I was very keen to hear your opinion. Well, look, let's talk about Olympia 2025. You've just said, I think it was at the start, that yeah, you kind of limited the pressure. Look, in bodybuilding, you lose some, you win some, but you are on the cusp of a historic treble.
Hmm.
And the reason why it's never been done before is because it's damn difficult. To go the entire season,
Yeah.
let alone, it's hard enough to kind of peak your physique twice. You're going into Olympia,
Yeah.
best at Arnold.
Hmm.
You had the improvements you were showing at Pittsburgh, you just didn't peak as well as you wanted to.
Yeah.
But now you said you're in a great position going into
Yeah.
the final 15 weeks Olympia 2025.
Yeah.
I mean, the, I guess what I'm saying here is history is there to get the treble. You can't afford to have any. You have to win this because you are this is it's never been done before. There may never be like this. We talk about legacy. When people talk
Yeah.
about legacy, we talk Ronnie Coleman's
Yeah.
eight, Lee Haynes eight,
Yeah.
Bill Heath seven, Dexter Jackson, all these all
Yeah.
matches he's done. Ashley Cole Watson, 52 wins. You know,
Yeah.
these titles where they may never get beaten
Hmm.
because what you're doing is so hard to do it once, but to do it three times.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, like, you see it? You talk about legacy.
Hmm.
Legacy is on that weekend, Las Vegas Olympia 2025.
Right.
You you do you have
It
to win?
excites me. It excites me. I think for some people it would make them shake in their shoes, and it would frighten them because they would think, "Ooh, I have to win. I have to do this. It has to, you know, nothing less than first." Honestly, man, that's why I told you before. Being afraid to fail is your enemy. That is your enemy, and you have to get rid of that. at all costs, one way or another. And for me, it's like, look, yeah, is there a lot riding on the line right now? If I win this show, is this history? Absolutely. That's what excites me. That's what gets me up and wanting to be my best every single day and not let my foot off the pedal at all, for sure. At the same time, does it define me? Like yes and no. I mean, to the outside looking in, for sure. No question. You just did something that was monumental. For me to know who Derek Lunsford is, no. But that's what is freeing for me because I think if I felt like I needed this to validate myself, it would put so much pressure on me that I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if anybody could do it. But like I said, that's what I realized after last year. Ooh, I'm more dangerous now than I've ever been. I have all those years of experience. I have accolades that are incredible already, but the fear of failure is gone. And I have the opportunity to do something that's never been done before. And I do believe if there's going to be somebody that does it, I think I can do it. And so it excites me rather than makes me nervous or makes me second guess anything. It it's just what I need for me to come back and get the title and to make history. Um
So
I don't know. I
let me ask you this then. Look, you peaked perfectly at the
Yeah.
Arnolds. You mentioned about the added muscle on your frame at
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, but you didn't get to showcase it because the peak wasn't what it was at Arnold's. You
Yeah.
peaked perfectly at the Olympia 25. You
Yeah.
get to showcase all that new muscle that maybe we didn't get to see properly at Pittsburgh. Is that Derek Lunsford beatable on the day come Olympia 2025?
Well, me at the Arnold was is it beatable? Me, my physique at the Arnold, you're asking?
I'm talking about if you bring obviously you peak perfectly for Olympia 25,
Yeah.
everything A plus effort is always delivered by you.
Yeah.
But let's say everything hits the mark perfectly at Olympia, which at the moment you just said you're in a perfect place.
Yeah.
You've got that you know what to do. If the best ever Derek Lunsford walks into the Olympia
Mm.
2025, can anyone beat that Derek Lunsford?
Game over. Game over. Done. That's it. I believe, like I said, I believed when I came off the Olympia last year that my best when I bring it is the best at this time. And so, yes, I believe, once again, given a whole year of training, and you can say, well, I was in prep or this, that. No, no, I was locked in. I've been focused all year. There might have only been, a few days these last few weeks that I even allowed myself to be kind of normal. So for a full year, I have been focused, training, dieting, doing everything for me to be my best. And it's going to be hard to challenge. I mean, again, I don't take anything away from these guys. I know that it is going to be a battle. But like I said, at the end of the day, when I bring it, game over. That's it. History will be made.
I think I remember one of your posts you did because also what's great is the environment that you have as
Yeah.
well going into Olympia. You got
Yeah.
Grego there as well. You got yeah, Ramon Dino's is there now and
Yeah.
again. I remember you saying that there's going to be this gym is going to have two Olympia champions
Yep.
that weekend. Of course, I know that's referring to obviously Grego
Yeah.
Ramon Dino going into classic physique, which is look. I mean, I think what we cool as well. Geez, if you won the Olympia as a treble. Imagine if you did the quadruple, you had the People's Champion belt as well,
Oh, let's go. Let's go. I
which
don't
is
know,
rated.
man. We'll see about that. I mean, I do have a People's Champ
I know
belt
you, yeah.
sitting right in front of me here. Um, yeah, that'd be awesome. But I don't know. With being so polarizing this year, uh,
Yeah.
does that go in your favor or does it not? I don't know. I mean, like I said, man, listen, I can sit here and speak confidence. Sometimes it can be taken the wrong way, but everybody that's getting ready for the show, I believe feels that way. If they don't, then why are you even stepping on stage? You know what I mean? Are you just going there to just have fun? I mean, it's great to have fun, but we're all going there to win the title. And like I said, I hope these guys believe the same thing. I only want to beat the best. I only want to compete and win against the best version of the best guys in the world. And I don't want anything to stop these guys from bringing it. And so same as me. Same as me, man. I want to know that at the end of the day, my efforts and what I brought is absolutely the best. And it's what you have to believe going into it. Because if you don't believe it, then why even show up? Why even do it? You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, like I said, I mean, I could speak to confidence and tell you I'm winning this year's Olympia. People are gonna take it, the people that support me is gonna say, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He's confident, and then the other people that don't want to see me do it, they're gonna be like, oh, look at him, he's getting ahead of himself again here. And so I can speak all the confidence in the world, but at the end of the day, I gotta do me, man, and I know what's best for me. I'm just taking it one day at a time. We all have challenges in our life that aren't easy. But you know what, man? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. And I don't ask for challenges in life. And I don't, nobody wants hardship or struggles, but that's how you get better. That's how you become stronger. Just like in the weight room, when you're in there building your physique, you got to put yourself under some pressure and under some, uncomfortable situations. And I don't think there's anybody else that's willing to do what it takes as much as I am. And so that's what I'm leaning on here.
We're gonna wrap up in a moment. I just want to ask you about two people, and it's actually on a positive note as well. I really want to ask because you come through 212.
Yeah.
For 2020, hopefully I got these dates correctly. 2021, 212 champion, 2020, sorry, 2021, yeah, 2022, second place in the Open. 2023, you won. 2024, obviously, we know up in there. 2025, you go for the win to get a treble. There's another 212 competitor that a lot of people are talking about. And look, focus on 212 this year. It's obviously Keone Pearson. There's a lot of excitement that we're all waiting for the day. I'm not saying when, but waiting for the day where he announces he moves into the Open. But there are some, actually, I've heard from some judges and some other outlets saying that if he did the Open this year, he could be in the top five.
Mhm.
Do you agree with that? That if Keon did the Open this year, which obviously he's not, he's focused on 212, but where he's at right now, would he be competitive in the Open division? And that's not a shot at Keon. This is just actually
Yeah.
asking, raising a conversation that people have had. Like, would he
Yeah.
be in that conversation in top five?
Um, First of all, Keon is incredible bodybuilder. Like he is smashing it in the 212. I mean, there's a lot of great 212ers, but right now Keon is he's coming into his own in that division. And that's great to see because that division 212 is super special to me. The first 5 years of my professional career was spent in the 212. Took me 5 years to get that 212 title, and it continued to elude me every year. But I wanted it. It meant so much to me that I would diet down past probably where I should have been just to squeeze into the 212 because I wanted that title. It's how much it meant to me. People said, "Oh, you could showcase a better physique in the open. You can make more prize money in the open." And at that time, I said no. The 212 title means more to me. And so, it really makes me happy to see him, Clarita, and all these other guys. I see some other young guys coming up too. Man, we got some really good 212ers that are on the rise. I
We talk
love
about
seeing.
we talk about
Yes.
Nihat, the 22-year-old who won Dubai,
That's
212.
that's one of the first guys I was thinking about actually. Yeah, shout out to him. He looks really good, and I hope he continues to just stay focused and go for the gold, baby. You know, don't take your eyes off of it. And so I love it. I think the 212 is definitely a place in our competitive sport, and I love to see Keon representing that well. Now in the open, it's I've had a great career going from 212 to open right away. Hottie did the same thing. William Bonac. There's been several guys that have made a great career going from 212 to open. So I don't want to sit here and say, well, it's easier said than done, because they're going to say, well, you had great success. Yes, I did. But you have to understand that um, genetics do play a role in this. So I I do think that there's a sweet spot in terms of height. So like if you're too tall, it's going to be hard to really fill out your frame. If you're too short, then it's going to be like, okay, do you really have like the stature? So being kind of in the middle is has always kind of been the best. I'm not saying that he couldn't come in and do phenomenal. I think he would. I think Keone would definitely give a lot of people a run for the money, because he has some crazy proportions. But when it comes to the open, it's like right now it's super competitive. And I think that you got like myself, Samson, Hottie, Nick, Martin, Andrew, um, and then a handful of other guys. William, I think that he could definitely push into that group. Um, but where would he land? I don't know. I don't know. It would, we'll see. We'll see. I think as a fan of bodybuilding, would it be interesting to see? Sure. But I think that he understands that he's the king of the 212 right now. And that's where he wants to stay. But if he wants to go up too, then go up. I mean, it's a decision that you have to make for yourself. So I made my decision to stay in it for a while and then move. But everybody makes that decision, man.
I mean, that look, you just listed off 6 names in the Open division, and that just shows
Yeah,
what a great place the Open is at the moment. To have
yeah,
Keon's name there, whether it's next year or the year
yeah,
after, it's only better
yeah,
for the division. And we've seen
yeah.
success of a 2-1-2 going into the Open. It's no joke.
Right.
They know how to bring it. The next person I want to bring up, and this was an interesting one because it was on Olympia TV yesterday, last week. Tarek mentioned that Chris Bumstead will be coming back in the Open one day. He said, "Oh yeah, that's confirmed by him." I know, obviously, the comments people are like, "Come on, that's not happening." Do you think Chris is going to come back one more time? And if he does, it'll be the Open division with you guys.
Nothing surprises me, man. I'll be honest, man. Nothing surprises me. Uh, I don't know, man. On one hand, I would say like, why not? But at the same time, it's like, well, he's had a successful career, right? And essentially he went out on top. I know he did the open show and didn't win, and he looked great there. But it's like you have you had an amazing competitive career, and you have a family, like you have a daughter at home, and you have like a well-run business, and you got you've made it, man. You've made it. So like maybe his mindset would be to transition into doing something else positive with his life and career. um but then if he has that urge of like, okay, I always wanted to compete for that Mr. Olympia title, then yeah, I think giving himself a couple years before he comes back is would be the smart move. Was that his intentions in the beginning? I don't know. Will it ever happen? I don't know. I mean, who's going to coach him? Is Hani Rambo going to coach him? I don't know.
That's it.
I don't know, man. So I see both sides, man. I see him potentially wanting to come back, and I also see him saying, like just teasing it and living his life outside of the competitive stage. So I do think that you know there's a judging criteria to bodybuilding. And given what we've seen so far, I think, he needs maybe some time to put some size on. Uh, but who knows, man? Who knows? Like I said, bro,
We
I don't want to distract from it, but it's like it's hard to sit here as a competitor myself who wants to be the reigning champion and think about who else is out there that's going to come challenge it. If you do, great. I accept it, man. Bring it on. Let's go. If you don't, then why would I even sit here and think about it? I'm only worried about me being the champion, not about somebody who isn't even said that they're competing right now to come back. If he does, cool, man, because I think it's gonna elevate everything. But
I'll tell you what, look, we know he's got his well, it's three-part series, the standard, looks back with six classic titles. Do you think maybe, well, you say when, if you, well, I'm a supporter of Samson, so I gotta be careful what I say here as well. Both seeing yourself and
oh, we got a
the other guy.
Samson fan here. Oh
Oh, come on,
boy,
I'm UK
come
here. So I gotta
on,
support
man.
I gotta
Man,
support
I knew
our
this.
local boy.
Is this bias stage or beyond the stage? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll tell you what, in unusual words, when you become Olympia 2025 champion in a treble, do you
Yeah.
think we might see a feature-length film one day of 2025 of this historical moment, similar to the videos, these films we've seen for Phil Heath, Dorian, Steven's got what coming out. I mean, this year could be a feature-length film.
I would love that. I would love that. And as much as we film and have filmed for so long, I think we could put together something pretty sweet. So yeah, I don't know why. I think, already going from 212 to the Open, winning both of them is already kind of like, whoa, and I'm sitting here and I look up and I see the different trophies in front of me, and um yeah, man, listen, when I'm talking about myself and I start talking about accolades and stuff, it, it's it feels weird because it's me and people think like, oh, okay, he's, full of himself. But when I was at FIBO, and Jay had mentioned, this guy's pretty much won everything. That's when it really hit me, and I was like, dang, man, like I won Mr. USA. I placed top five in the 212 that first year. I got rookie of the year. Actually, that was the same year Chris Bumstead was rookie. So I got rookie of the year over Chris that year. And then finally getting the 212 title, going to the Open, placing second on a special invite, and then winning the Mr. Olympia and getting the People's Champ the same show, same year, to losing the title and coming back to beat the reigning champion at the Arnold, Best Poser Award, versus Pittsburgh Pro Champion, and then for this to be the second guy in history to get the title back and to win the three biggest shows of the year. I mean, yeah,
Come on,
I
that's
think
watchable. Get that
I
on
mean,
Netflix.
and the
Get
thing
on
is,
Prime.
man, I think what makes it even more interesting is that there's so much I haven't talked about because I always try to be me, man. I always want to be the most genuine me, but I will say I don't always talk about hardships in my life. It's very difficult for me to want to put that out there because for one, maybe to protect a little bit of myself and my personal life, but also like I just never wanted people to be like, oh, he's a poor me. He's always talking about what he's got going on in his life. So for me, I always wanted to be like a positive, like inspirational, motivational, like source for people. If you watch my social media, my YouTube, whatever, I want people to like draw motivation and positivity from it. I want people to leave my videos going, wow, I feel better, instead of hearing about what I got going on in my life. Like, okay, yeah, you just depressed me for 15 minutes. Like, I don't want that,
Yeah, yeah,
So I,
that's real. But this is real talk. This is how
yes,
this is relatable. People who are
yes,
watching, they unfortunately, we all have to go through something where we
right.
lose someone, and to see that vulnerable side from yourself.
Mhm.
I mean, it's real, it's raw, it's relatable, and that's where we
Yeah,
resonate with you. I lost my mom to cancer. I know how tough it was for myself, and to see you what you went through with
mhm.
your grandma, especially having seen you do
Yeah,
videos in the past of
yeah.
of the importance
And
role she played.
And I hate to say it, but it's not just that. There's so many other things that happen in our lives that are super challenging, that can throw us off, and just blindside us out of nowhere. And there's been a lot of those times throughout my bodybuilding journey and bodybuilding career that I just never really opened up to people. And I think if I were to share a little bit more of that, people will go, "Wow, man, like he really is just like a normal guy who is doing his best to stay resilient, and just trust in the Lord and have his faith, and just keep moving forward." And yeah, I think people a lot of times just see the positive side that I put out, and it's not to it's nothing more than just I want other people to draw like positivity from it, because when I went on there and I was watching the Jay Cutlers and the Ronnie Colemans affiliate, like I got motivated, man. Like I want to go to the gym and I want to train and I wanted some positive motivation. I didn't want to hear about somebody's sob story. And so I definitely didn't want to be that guy. So when you talk about a documentary or things that I'm trying to do better at now, even on my own social media, is to let people in on some of the hardships that I go through. And not everything am I going to discuss. Like some things that have come up, I'm not going to discuss everything, because part of it needs to stay private. But just understand that, hey man, bodybuilding is bodybuilding is tough enough when things are going great. Like when things are going perfect, it's hard enough to come and peak and be your best, especially at the Mr. Olympia top level. So imagine when you got some real life things that you're going through, and then you gotta show up, show face, and you gotta show out every day in the gym and show out at the show, and then be ridiculed no matter if you win or lose. It's like talk about resilience, man. And
That's
I think there is a story to be told. I do.
Well,
Yeah.
honestly, mate, look, as we wrap it up here, you brought up a few times saying that, some people see your confidence as arrogance. Honestly, those people that think that clearly have not followed your journey from
Maybe. Yeah.
2015 to the 212 to Olympia, or watched you
Hmm.
or watch your content, watch what's on
Yeah.
YouTube. They're just judging anything off by
Yeah.
seeing somebody so confident they can win, maybe because maybe they're insecure about what they could
Mhm.
achieve.
Yeah.
And
Maybe.
they are, and that is like the smallest minority as well.
Mhm.
These are, we know how people like to talk negative on social media versus the positive. People talk
Mhm.
positive more than they keep it to themselves.
Yeah.
But honestly, that is a small minority. What I will say right now is, I mean, you got the motivation for having a beautiful family, being a father, the environment, the gym you have with the guys
Yeah.
around you, the content you're putting out is inspiring, is motivating, and we love to see that, especially when you show something outside the gym as well. But Derek
Thank
Lunsford
you.
away from the gym,
Mhm.
that's where you get a really great understanding and perspective
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
of that individual. So my final question is this then, and I want to finish on a really nice note. We understand the important role your grandmother played, beautiful role, and everything she said was so lovely as well, especially before the Arnolds. What can you give me the greatest piece of advice that she's given you that resonates you on a daily basis, that fires you up? Can you
Hmm.
give that one piece of advice that she's given you? I'm sure there's loads of great advice, but I'm talking about
Man, you are
key one.
really putting me on the spot here. You know, I don't think it's as much as what ever said,
She
because
stood
she
for.
said a lot of things. She was a silly woman. Uh, I think it's more about how she made everybody feel. Oh boy, you're gonna get me choked up here, brother. Oh, she never was. She was never afraid to be herself, and I think that especially nowadays with social media and everybody is judging people's appearances, and I'm not talking about bodybuilding, I'm not talking about physique, that's part of it too, but everybody seems to be a little bit more judgmental of one another and not considerate of people living their own life, or it's more, I think, insecurities within themselves. So I think nowadays we're always so worried about being validated and pleasing other people and matching people's energies and making sure people like us and stuff, that or look up to us, whatever. Um that sometimes I think people are afraid to be themselves. And I think I've been there too at times. And she never was afraid to just be herself. And going along with that, she embraced who other people were. Like she oh, I said it at a funeral. I don't know how exactly I said it because I was all choked up, but she when I felt like almost no one else allowed me to be me because there was expectations from family members, from other people in my life that I was expected to be somebody different, somebody better, somebody just I was just never good enough, right? Um she was about the only person that made me feel like I could be me. And not only did she allow me to be me, but she encouraged it. Like I just knew that she loved me so much and was so proud of me that she just wanted me to go be all I could be and do whatever it was in this world that I felt like I was called to do, you know. I'm sorry, man. Uh yeah. Um and so I said that at the funeral that she was like that towards everyone. Like she was goofy and silly and made
Mm.
jokes, and she was even she was an actual clown, man. She would dress up as a clown, and she went to
Brilliant.
clown school. Actually, it's
What?
crazy. She was so proud of it. She was so proud of it, and it just I've never seen someone just be themselves through and through, you know. And meanwhile, just love everybody else around them, you know. And she couldn't miss any of my events ever. She could never miss a sporting event, a bodybuilding show, nothing. Like every day, every single day, man, she would wear like one of my shirts. And I'm not talking about one of the shirts that maybe it would have been in one of the shirts that I sold, right? But you know, obviously I gave it to her, but um she would go print she would like go to Walmart or something. I don't know where she went, but she would just get a plain t-shirt and find some Facebook picture or Instagram picture and just print a rectangular photo on her shirt and just wear it. And she would go out with my grandpa and she would you know who this is? She would point to her shirt. You know who this is? Just to some waitress or waiter or some random person that she met that day. She'd always say, "You know who this is? This is my grandson. This is my grandson. This is my grandson." And
You mentioned that what the reason why I'm getting a little bit choked up my side because I remember my mum did that with one of my karate competitions.
yeah, and
Honestly,
she
sorry.
like it didn't matter though. Like it didn't matter that I was Mr. Olympia. Like obviously she's so proud of that. Like she wanted me to win and be Mr. Olympia. We made jokes about because you have to joke when you're not winning and you're losing. You have to accept it somehow. So there were the year I won the 212. She goes, "Finally you won." You know, like finally she goes, "Finally you won. I come here and you win." Um, it didn't matter though. It didn't matter who I was to the public or Mr. Olympia. It didn't even matter if I could have sneezed and she would have been proud that of the way I sneezed. Like it just that's how she was towards me. And I feel like that's how she was towards other people. So you asked me what kind of advice she gave me. It was the way she just carried herself in life. And I honestly, man, I wish I could be like that more, to be honest. Like
Honestly, mate, you are. I mean, honestly, what you just described there, I can see so much how you're trying to take what your grandma stood for and be yourself. Just be yourself. Who cares what other people think? And love those people around you, which is why you go to Steve Weinberger's gym 2 weeks south
yeah,
on the Arnolds, going to FIBO 4 weeks out because
Yeah.
you're just being you because you want to give back.
Yeah.
You want to be around those people that supported you. You don't want
Yeah.
to isolate yourself. That's not
Yeah.
you. Being you is actually
Exactly.
being out with the community, with the people,
Sure.
making bodybuilding great.
Right, man. And just trying to do my best to live my life right, dude. I'm not perfect, bro. Like, I'm not like I struggle a lot. That's why I have to get closer in my faith. Sometimes, usually for me, when things are comfortable and easy and going well, that's when I can tend to stray away because, well, like the challenging times really force me to cling on to God. And so sometimes when things are going good and I'm very busy, it's like sometimes you put that on the back burner and it's not okay. Like, and so coming back to center, getting closer to God is like, just living my life in the best way that I can. That's what I really have to focus on. And then everything else will come together. And that's, going all the way back to the beginning of this podcast. It's like you asked me about 2024 Olympia, and that's where I was. I just felt like, okay, this wasn't what God had in store for my life, and I have to accept it and I have to move forward. Same thing with like losing my grandma. Like it sucks, and there's times that I want to think about it, and it's okay to think about it, but also at the same time, like I can't always be sad and I have to move forward, just like anything else in life that you might be going through. Like other things in my life I've been going through recently that super, challenging. But it's like, you know what? Like are you gonna stay down or are you gonna keep moving forward? And so I guess that's like you can't honestly, man, you can't call yourself the most resilient unless you've been through something. And I said I've always believed it from the first time I started bodybuilding all the way up until the beginning of this year. I always said that the best year of my bodybuilding career would be met with the hardest time in my life. And everybody knows about my grandma, people don't know about other things, but that is so true. And that's why I said, no, 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 I'm the most resilient. I am. I know these guys are going through other stuff too, but I'm gonna handle it like nobody else can handle it. And I'm gonna walk through this. God's got me, God's got this, and we're gonna make it through no matter what. And if the outcome is that we just made history this year, boom, we did it. I believe that's what's coming. I do. I believe 100% that's what's coming. And if it isn't, you know what, man, that's okay. God's got this. Life is beautiful, and we're just gonna keep moving forward. So it takes the pressure off of me, but also it excites me because I know that, the potential for history is there and it's going to happen. So I'm very excited for this year. It's like I feel like going out to Vegas this year is something special. Something special is coming this year. I'm telling you, something special is coming and, and dude, I can't wait. I'll be honest, I cannot wait. In a way, I want it to slow down so I can keep training hard, but at the same time, I can't wait because I just know what's coming this
Yeah,
October.
I think that's the perfect place to end it. No better place to end it there. Derek, really appreciate your time so much.
Thank you.
Just continue being you, mate, because what you're
Thank you,
putting
bro.
out there in the Bollywood world is nothing short of motivational, inspirational. You know the people that are you're touching, and then also there's all those people that you don't know who are watching, who are
Yeah.
listening to everything you say, who are making a positive impact. Your grandma will be proud. Everyone will see you proud. That's why you're a
Thank you.
former Mr. Olympia champion, and that's why you're in that position going 2025. And I can't wait to see
Thank you,
what
man.
happens.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Keep doing great things for our bodybuilding community. Like I said, I love the positive, uplifting stuff. I feel like you're always like trying to shine a good light on the sport, and so just keep up with that, man. I appreciate you.